My name's Dave DeBow, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content.
All right, guys, welcome back to Property Profits Podcast. I'm your host, Bryce Kaminski, filling in for Dave Dubow. And have you ever wondered how it's possible to turn your life around from a rocky past to becoming a self-made successful entrepreneur? Well, today, my guest, CJ Pearson from Pennsylvania, he's going to help us out, because he went from being a convicted felon to a self-employed homeschooling dad and husband running 3 thriving businesses, all by the age of 25. CJ, man, welcome to the show. Great to have you here.
Thank you so much. Pumped to be here, man. Had trouble trying to line things up as always, just with the life, but you know what it is, man. Excited.
Yeah, the video's coming through. You're coming through loud and clear. So can you share a bit about your past and the journey that led you to where you are today?
Yeah, man. Ultimately, I got in trouble in my hometown for selling marijuana at the end of the day, and kind of had to mature quickly or keep going that road, and kind of matured. Still messed up though, went to college, kept messing up, went to college for welding, didn't make it, but 3 months. Got kicked out of there for the same type of thing, wouldn't listen there either. And then figured I didn't need school and figured that I would figure it all out myself. And that's what I did. I started making really low income at a job to learn how to weld and fix things. And for 3 years straight, welded, taught myself how to do everything, worked my way up, and then kind of hopped a couple companies, contracted for a while, all that good stuff, man. And then finally realized once I was making really good money doing that, I was making 6 figures a year after like 5 years of just being in the trades, and realized that's not what I wanted to do for long at all. And I kind of made like a 5 year plan to get out, and thankfully for me, did it in like 2.5. Just one day had enough and rolled out, man. So yeah, man, now we're about a year into full self-employment now. So feeling really good about it.
So how did that whole experience shape your approach to business and life to some degree? Because you realize you came to the wall and you're like, I I've got the like blue collar dream. Like everyone's like probably wants my position. And you're like, now that I'm here, not really what I was looking at. So how did that kind of shape your approach to the next stage of your life?
Yeah, no, man, that's such a good point. Just because that's what it was, man. I mean, I went from being the mess up in my family to, oh my gosh, he's a mess up and he's got a kid on the way, to, okay, he's working, he's doing his thing, he's got another kid on the way, and then I went to, man, he's working harder than anyone in the family, making more than anyone in the family, and that's the point. I have some family members who are, went to college, teachers, doctors, whatever, and then I have blue collar workers and made about as much money as any of them, and just realized like, man, yeah, I could go further. I could probably get to, multiple 6 figures, but it was miserable, man. I literally did work average 60 plus a week. So just
So
kind of realized, man.
how did you overcome the initial challenges of starting your own business? Because that's like what's the thing Elon Musk says, running a business is like staring into the abyss and eating glass at the same time. So
Yeah.
how did you overcome the shock? Did you save up? Did you have a war chest going out, or did you just say, you know what, enough's enough, and you gave your 2 weeks?
Yeah. No, I wish and I always claimed it too, but then some days you just have to be about it. And but now I'm kind of the jump and build my parachute on the way down. And that's
Mm,
how it went. I did not save up much. I had all 3 businesses starting because the one's more of a holding company. It's two of them kind of do, work together. One's rehab for real estate and the other one kind of holds the real estate, and there'll be LLCs under that one. But well, there is, but point being, so yeah, man, really just kind of had to, I don't know, man, it's changes every day, right?
hmm
But
hmm
yeah, really what most people say, it sounds crazy, but what most people say, friends, family, all that, I literally do the opposite. As
Mm.
crazy as that sounds.
You got an authority problem. Anyone
Yeah,
tells you to do
yeah.
anything, you're like, I'm just gonna do the opposite because someone told me to do that. You should
No, man,
keep doing
literally.
that. You should keep being a tradesperson and keep making six figures. And you're like, oh yeah, oh yeah, watch me not do that. Watch me do something else.
No. And listen, that was the problem there too. After a while, you do get kind of cocky once you know some things, and then you'll humble yourself real quick. I mean, that's how it goes. The minute you realize you know something, it's really realizing that you don't know anything. But yeah, yeah, man, that's the point too, though. I went from making really good money for myself, I guess you could call it, but then realizing that I'm making someone else even better money and realized
Hmm.
I can do that myself. I can open the LLC and then not necessarily even put people in place because I didn't have the money for it at first, but find the people who could help me line things up. And like the people that have LLCs and rentals that don't report that income, I don't understand that at all. It makes no sense to me because if you do things right, there's ways to offset everything. And there's
Yeah.
then benefits like credit, to actually be making money.
It's usually
So
a composition of fear and a lack of information around the thing. So um can you give us kind of an overview of National Realty Group, Rehab Solutions, and the CJ Commerce? So you said the e-commerce one is what, the holding one, or is that the
no,
National
so
Realty Group holding?
yep. National Realty Group is the holding company. There's three rentals under that right now, all in their own LLC. I know that sounds expensive, but just the people I use Prime Corporate Services. I know a lot of people don't like them, but I just stay on them. I make sure that they got
Yeah.
my stuff right, and that's about it. But yeah, man. So rehab solutions is the initial way that we can make some money in real estate. That's literally the fixing of a house, whether we actually
Yeah.
swing a hammer or delegate that work right out and get nothing but subcontractors. We can usually squeeze some contingencies, if you want to call it, in there at the end of a rehab. If we do hit the number or better, we can walk away with some money in the rehab process when we get draws from lenders. And then beyond that, man, yeah, National Realty Group literally is just a holding company. It will forever be kind of the one I try to build the most of my credit off of. And then
Hmm.
CJ Commerce has no connection, man. It's something that I was too interested in to not invest in. And I had some buddies from my W-2 income, some guys that I'd watched for 3 or 4 years doing their own thing and decided to let them go off on this FBA program. I gave them
Hmm.
literally 50K to invest with a team in Singapore, and we manufacture Keurig K cup holders and sell them
There
things
you go, right?
on Amazon. Yeah, man.
I see
Yep.
people make
Yep.
crazy money on like some sort of like dog brush that's got a magnet in the handle or something, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like,
Yep, yep.
oh, it's a charcoal brush and it helps attract the dirt in the dog's thing. And you're like, oh, Timu's got it for 15 bucks or Amazon's got it for 15 and Alibaba's making it for 12 cents and someone in the middle is doing the thing. So there's
Right.
definitely money in that business. I prefer real estate. So let's talk a little bit more about that. What
Mhm.
strategies have you found to be most effective in your real estate investment journey so far?
So I want to start with the trickiest, right? Get that out of the way. It's wholesaling, working direct to seller, man. Just that is for sure the hardest. It's what I want to do the most of right now because of the market we're in. But dude,
Yes,
it's
for
so
sure.
tricky. Yeah, yeah. But no, so the ones that I definitely have found the most, I don't even want to call it luck, man. It's not. I mean, it may start as that, finding like somebody who needs a service, and I might be able to do it if I don't already know how or whatever, or have somebody that can help, whatever it be. But yeah, the rehab, definitely the rehab for me. I've been more since, that felony and stuff kind of pushed me into the labor world.
Hmm.
That kind of really got good with my hands pretty quick. So nonetheless, yeah, man, that's where I really started and then making the most money is rehab at the end of the day.
Well, there's a lot of, I don't know, take it how you will, but I've found that in real estate, there's a lot of ex convicts, ex-felons, there's like a hustle mentality that these guys are looking to legitimize what, wholesaling's a hustle. Real estate flipping is a
Yeah.
hustle. All these things have a hustle ingredient, and that's why these guys do so well because they're like, either I'm flipping this or I'm flipping this house. Either I'm flipping this or I'm flipping this contract. And one's going to make me 5 grand and I keep it at home. And the other one's 5 grand I can actually put in the bank account. So
Right.
when you look at that hustle mentality, do you feel like that's kind of come along with it, or did you learn that more in like the trade side of things? And even trades, like I did some like carpentry for a while, and even the trades there's a hustle, like side
No,
work, and like the way things are priced is so arbitrary, like it's a hustle. So where
no,
where,
man.
where did you find that hustle, and how do you use it in your real estate on a day-to-day business?
Yeah, I'm glad. Yeah, because I don't want to credit it all to the streets, right?
No,
They
it's like
can't
there's a
get they
hustle,
can't get
like
all that credit, right? Nah, you're so right, man. The
in the
the
trades, it's
labor
kind of
world,
like no, I'm not going to say it's greasy, but it's definitely
dude.
not car insurance. It's not home insurance. It's not a grocery store. This is
Dude, you're
trade.
hitting it on the money, man. Nah, for sure. It is, yeah, dude. It's get it how you get it. Literally at the end of
Mhm.
the day, you know what it is. It doesn't matter. Like you said, dude, I don't care if you work carpentry, roofing, or if like you're industrial maintenance, or if you're an iron worker. It doesn't matter, dude. If you've been in trades and you know what it is, you have to
Yeah.
work your way up. It's that simple. You literally, I mean, unless your father owns it, I guess I've seen that a couple times, but
Or you just strike out and start your own, like, and then
right,
every guy
right.
you hires tells you about when he was in jail. Like, oh, and then we're on lunch break and everyone's talking about how they were in jail. And I never been to jail, so I couldn't really relate, but it seems to be that there's a certain amount of like that type of person that ends up in the like job, and maybe they last for a few weeks or maybe they last for a few days, but certainly the trades, and I feel like real estate's a business where you can change your trajectory. If you're serious,
Mhm.
you want to become a plumber or you just want to make plumbing money, you can tag along a ticketed plumber and you guys can make money. Like, hey, Saturday we're
Yeah.
going to do this job. I'll cut you 450 on it. I'm making 2,300. We're gonna go do this job, me and you real quick. We'll be done by 6. And you're like, yeah, I'm in. And that's the trade business, right? There's a hustle and you can make money. Did you ever think about getting your tickets and things like that?
Yeah, man. No, absolutely. And that's what's super hard, man. Is that's exactly where I'm at right now. I can keep trading my time for money. I do. I didn't mention one thing I do. It's under the same LLC as Rehab Solutions, but that's because it's what it's classified as. It's to rehab cars and houses. Like I forget what classification under the tax code and all that stuff. But point being that I do roadside assistance as
Mm,
well. Self-employed. I have a guy who has really tight relationships with Geico and Allstate and whatever, and now U-Haul, and that's where the real money is. Um,
mhm.
yeah,
Or
man,
change
there's
that
too
tire.
much, dude. Change the tire, deliver gas, get people's keys out of their car, all that, man. Jump the car. So it's tricky because I don't want to be working for money anymore, and I can make stupid money doing it for
Mhm.
myself. Like on accident really found the roadside assistance, and the guy I literally, man, I haven't made less than 35 an hour, and that's
Yeah.
not going to somewhere and working. That's the time I leave my house to the time I get back. I track it all. Like,
Yeah,
so
it's tricky. I mean, there's
yeah,
hustles everywhere, right? And
yeah, I'm
like
not
I
trying to
said
do
it
it
to the
forever.
fiance, I said, look, I'm not making any money doing whatever today. And someone wants me to do that today, I'll go make money. What else is there to do but to kind of like fill your time with income generating things. But when you look at real
So,
estate, you look at it and you say, if I didn't spend 3 hours driving out, boosting that car and come back, what could I have made in those 3 hours? If I was sending out letters, making
and
calls, knocking doors, what's the
that's it.
leverage? It's usually $100 an hour. So when you look at lead generation and real estate, what's working for you? What maybe have you given up on? What advice would you tell other people when they're getting started?
Yeah, so definitely what works for us the most is honestly sticky notes. We don't necessarily because of numbers and also tired of we live in Baltimore, man, and that's where we do most of our
Oh, I've been
marketing.
there.
So
I've been to
so
Baltimore.
bro, right,
I've
man.
been
So
there.
we do not do too much door knocking, like
No, you
physically
do not
knocking.
want to be doing door knocking in Baltimore.
But we're self-employed, all these homeschool things, man. We do have freedom, so we go throw sticky notes on doors or door hangers every once in a while. I'll buy some door hangers, like the fancier stuff.
You get
I
the
don't think
sticky notes
it's
printed or do you write them out?
not even better, even better. I buy the cheap sticky notes, man. I found a place. I'm glad you asked this stuff, man. You're good. You're good. Um, but no, I got stamps, man. Literally a stamp pad that states, "Hi, my name's Christopher or CJ. We'd love the opportunity to talk with you about your property, and we have one that we're ordering now that's, for work. We'd love to be the ones to cut your grass or help you with your whatever." So yeah, man, I get 100 sticky note pads, sheets, and just stamp, flip it, stamp, and it goes quick still. It's cheap as heck too. That's the point. I don't pay a
Yeah,
lot for
dollar
printing
store,
stuff.
Dollar General, that's where I get my stuff because like when
Yeah.
it comes down to it, it's all going in the trash most of the time. It's interesting you say cutting lawns and stuff because I find that it's easier to open a conversation with an owner when you say, "Hey, who's cutting your grass?" And then they call
Man,
you up and you're like, "Yeah, you sell it to your grass guy, the lead, you sell that lead." But you're on the phone with the owner and you say, "Yeah, what's holding you back from cutting the grass? Back problems, work problems, divorce, downsizing. Is it
get
an
them
expensive
talking, man.
house?" Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You get the phone ringing about their roof, their windows. I'll go and do driving for dollars, but I drive for dollars about auxiliary businesses because you
Hmm.
can sell that list to a yard care company. You drive around and you're like, oh, I have a list of
Dude,
200 yards that need to be cut and the address, and I went to the county and I have them in a database. Would you like to buy it? And then the yard care guy gives you wholesale the list. Because my mentor said
yeah.
really early on, he says, nothing in your real estate business is worth anything except the lists that you make and keep. Because that's the whole business if you think about it. You got a list of houses, you got a list of names and addresses, you got a list of all the roofs that need work on the east side. Who
Mm,
wants to buy that? Probably a
right.
roofer, right?
Right.
And then you
Dude,
just
that's
sell the whole
amazing.
list, man, because you're already doing the work, you're already walking the beat. But one thing that I found that was interesting, if you're walking the beat and you're putting these things on doors, make lists because a lot of people just go one and done. They'll walk the same
And
block
that's, yeah,
10
man.
times.
So we have one thing that I'll say that helps us do just lead generation in general is Deal Machine. Once
Mm-hmm.
again, I'm not here to say opinions on it, man. I know that like
No, I
one could
love
be
it.
better than the other. Right,
No,
that's
I
what I'm gonna
love
say,
Deal
man. It
Machine.
depends if you know how to use it because there's nothing like Deal Machine. I literally can if I'm doing out of state things and whatnot, like screw even just lead generation, a property I'm trying to buy. I can just go and look at pretty accurate within like, at most areas they update within a month or less. But
Well, I liked
accurate
it when you could
footage
just
of a
go and you
property,
just take a picture of the house and
put
then
it
it
right in
goes it goes and puts it right in, puts the address, goes to the county, gets me the phone number, click on the phone number, call the owner while I'm
right
standing in
away.
front of it, right? Because I used to be
Yep.
driving around in Cleveland and there's so many junk houses in Cleveland, man. So then I
Right.
would just use Deal Machine. I got a free subscription. I think it give you like 14 or 21 days to try it. And I just rolling around taking pictures. And I love the fact that it does the postcards. It'll like put them
Oh
on
yeah.
a follow-up if you want to pay for that, right?
Sequence. Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yep. No,
So
dude,
with
it
all
is
the stuff
amazing.
you're doing, how do you balance that work-life situation? Because you could easily get caught up, not being at home. And how
Yeah.
in here, like, because I'm kind of in the same boat. For people doing that thing, how do you shut down your work brain when you're with your kids so that you don't feel like this homeschooling thing is like actually keeping me from making money to pay for the lights for this homeschooling thing and the
Mhm.
cycle, daddy, why are you going to work? Well, I got to go out and make the work so you can have more McDonald's tomorrow. Like you don't
Mhm.
how do you stop and balance your positioning?
Dude, it's hard, man. You know what it is. I think so. That's what's crazy too, is a lot of people, and we like to call ourselves different. I think everybody does. But that's kind of the point is I feel like most parents come home no matter what they do, especially if they don't spend every single day with their kids all day. Um, I feel like they come home and still a lot of them feel like they can't get enough time with their child or whatever, or maybe they don't want it. I don't know. But we still feel like we can't get enough time with our kids. Especially me and even my wife. Like my wife literally, she homeschools them. Like I help as much as I can and I have the time for that now. But dude, she's the one, man. Just like anybody. So really, it's her, man. I have to credit it at the end of the day. I can't shut it off at all. It's disgusting. I can't shut it off. Like my kids, I will not have, I've tried to make these rules of not having my phone out when we're talking and things like that, but it's impossible, especially when I'm literally here all the time. The only time I'm not
One
here is for a
one thing
house
I
or
always, one
roadside.
thing I always remember is you're relatively young. You're like what, 25,
Hmm.
26? So I'm 40. And there was a
Right.
time, let me tell you, the young man, there was a time when you went out of your house and no one could call you. And guess what?
Right.
We survived. And there was a
Right.
time where someone else was on the phone and no one could call you. And you know what? They called you later. So like that's the one thing that helps me with my phone and my situation is like I think we're more addicted to it than the actual usefulness of it because when you had to try to find your friends back in the day, you just get on your bike and they'd be in the front yard because no one was stealing them yet. So you'd be like, "Oh, everyone's over at CJ's place because all the bikes are in the front yard." And there
Yeah,
was
yeah.
no tracking, there was no lights. Well, the street lights would come on, we'd go home. So what I always try to remember is that there was a time where when you went out, you'd tell people where you were going to meet them at a particular time. And if it didn't happen, it didn't happen because you couldn't call them. There was no way to get in touch with people, so it just didn't happen. And we
Mm,
all survived somehow. So now that
mhm.
we're hyper connected, we don't deliberately make plans because it's so easy to create them on the fly. So
Yeah,
take a little bit of the old days and just remember that take your phone and plug it in the house. And if it's so important, they'll call you again. And back in the day, we survived somehow. That's how I shut my brain off on work. So what are
you
the
already
future
know, man.
goals? What are the future goals for the business? Where are you trying to grow this thing to?
Uh, Definitely just trying to grow it, man. At the end of the day, we're literally setting up a will and trust as we speak. We had a call today for it and all that good stuff. So we're in the process of all of that. But man, I don't know. I want to actually feel like I don't know, man. I don't credit myself enough. So I'm trying to actually. I enjoy myself. Kind of not really. My enjoying myself is my family are working because that's the same thing at the end of the day. They're just two different objectives at the end of the day. One is investing in them and one is investing for them, kind of. You know what I mean? Seriously. But
Yeah.
no, man, definitely the goals for the businesses is just keep growing constantly, man. I want my kids. I mean, I want these in the next couple of years, let alone by the time they're 18. But I want my kids to each have a house for once they are done college or high school to, live in, do whatever they want to do with, and things like that, man. Keep setting family up. I want to free some people. I have this crazy imagination that I can free people. So keep going with that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a grind out here to get that out of the ground. Wholesaling is that fast money. You got some medium money with the rentals and the flip money and kind of a short medium situation. You got lots of runway. I didn't even start real estate till I was 30, so you got lots
Yeah.
of runway left. If people want to connect with you, they want to find out more, what should they do? How do they find you?
On Facebook, it's CJ Pearson, and on Instagram, it's the real CJ Pearson. That
There
is
you
it,
go.
my friend.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you stopping by and letting people know a little bit more about the grind. And yeah, I think it's going to be a great episode.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, my man, so much.
No problem. Until next time, guys, we'll check you on the next episode.
Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewyou.com. Now at moneypartnerformula.com, we help real estate investors to create a process for predictably getting capital so they can do more deals without relying on hard money lenders or the banks. We do this by building them a private capital marketing system. Now, if you want help turning yourself into a big money capital attraction machine, then book a call with our team to see how we can help. Just visit moneypartnerformula.com to find out more. All right, take care, and we'll see you on the next interview.